Hi, I'm Rob Cross, director of the Virginia Arts Festival, and I'm so thrilled to get to talk to my old friend, Aundi Moore. Aundi, it's so great to see you and catch up. It seems like even though we haven't done concerts since March, all of us are still incredibly busy.
Yes, yes, extremely busy. I didn't know that COVID was going to make me this crazy busy, trying to do I really feel like right now I'm learning how to be a sound person. I'm a lighting tech. I have learned, master Zoom technologies. I mean, I have learned so many different skills because of COVID, because you have no choice.
So we've obviously worked together for years and years, and I have to tell you, it's some of my most enjoyable memories of being on the stage. So the first big project you did for the Virginia Arts Festival was the opera that Ricky Aiden Gordon and Mark Campbell did for us, Rappahannock County.
Ricky and I had met him some years prior to doing Virginia Arts Festival, because it was my first time actually working for your company for Virginia Arts Festival. But I had met him when I was a young artist, and he would say things like, "Oh, you can sing my music." And so when this connection happened, I was like, this is perfect, being at home, Chesapeake, Virginia, and to sing about, just to tell the stories about the different slaves post-slavery, and the thoughts that they were going through. It really opened my eyes up to things that I just never even imagined. Like, to think, like, for an instance, one of my songs I sing is All I've Ever Known. And it's the moment where she is free. She's a free slave, but she has nowhere to go. She doesn't want to leave her master. She doesn't want to go from the home that she knows. And now she's trying to figure out what's next. And I can't imagine being in that position. It just really opened my eyes to just another thought process that these people, my ancestors, went through, and how they rose above it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Another fun thing for me was your recital you did at the festival. So
Oh,
we did
a good
we were in
time.
that small venue. We basically said you can do whatever you want, and it was
Yeah.
a program was really really eclectic. I don't know if you remember what you did that for that program.
I had so much fun. I didn't know that I could do it, to be honest, because most time people hire me to do opera, or I'll do orchestral works, but not a whole show, just me. I realized not only can I do it, I felt like I succeeded at it and started doing it other places, and was starting to get hired over and over again to do small recitals of, of Great American Songbook, how, you and I set it up. So it was just a perfect test run, to be honest. It was a perfect test run.
Well, and I will say your stage presence lends itself to that format because you know how to tell a story, not just when you're singing, but you talking between pieces and bringing the audience in and really engaging them. And there's a lot of great singers, but they don't all also have that gift.
Oh, thank you.
Well, and obviously my other hat is the Virginia Symphony, and you performed with the orchestra a lot over the years, both with Joanne, with Bob Schaupp. Is there any special moment with the orchestra that was something that jumps out at you?
My favorite, of course, is always the holiday pops, because when the children are in the audience and it's the first time they've really ever heard like classical singing, because with the holiday pops, you guys always ask me to do, like, of course, "Oh Holy Night" or some sort of classical standard, and then we do later in the show a little bit of the crooning holiday Christmas music. But to watch these little people's faces of surprise, and to see the little children, some of them are like this, or, their mouth drop, like, and I'm able to really connect with them, is my most favorite thing. I remember sitting in those seats, my mom buying tickets for me to see, the National Symphony or Virginia Symphony, sitting there and then watching a singer come out. And what even did it for me even more was seeing a singer that looked like me. Denise Graves was my person. She was my, if she can do it, I can do it too. And to be able to perform with her at the Met was like a total 360 for me. It was like, oh my God, I could not tell her the story of how I know her and how I met her through the stage, being from my town. And I couldn't tell her until after we were finished with the Porgy run because I felt like I would just bawl out crying. Finally got the nerve to call her up on the phone because she and I became good friends. I got the nerve to tell her, I need to tell you that you made it so, and made me be able to dream that I could be an opera singer too.
So you brought it up. So we got to talk about the Met. So there's so much to talk about there. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. So do you mind sharing why that was such an important thing for you?
To be honest, you know, I'm a mom of two, and I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. And, you know, growing up and in school, when you're in college, they tell you that if you want to be a famous singer, having a family is just off the table, to be honest. So once I had baby number two, even though I've had a really full career, and I would take my oldest son Tyler with me literally everywhere, having two kids was definitely out of the question. Like, I thought having two kids, I will never make it to the Met because it's just too challenging. And the way that our finances work, you know, if you don't sing, you don't make any money. And I could just kiss the Met goodbye and just be happy with the career that I've had so far. And even though the Met wasn't on the docket, I still sung all over the world. But, you know, the Met is like the Mecca, it's like the pinnacle of opera. But I believe that God made it so and put me right in the right place at the right time for the opportunity to happen. Eric Einhorn from On-Site Opera gave me a call and asked me to do an All of the Night Visitors with him. And the big thing with him is that the chorus was comprised of mostly people who were formerly homeless. And his idea about how this story was going to unfold for All of the Night Visitors was so compelling and moving, and I decided to go ahead and do it. I thought it would be me going to inspire some of these people who have been homeless. And to be honest, they inspired me. In spite of all of what they have gone through in their life, they still rose above the difficulties. Unbeknownst to me, Eric has been a director at the Met for over 15 years. I had no idea about it. So when he told me one rehearsal, he said, Aundi, you know, I just want to let you know, we will have a guest in the audience. It's going to be a private viewing. And I was like, oh, okay, who's the guest? And he was like, Peter Gelb. And I was like, Peter Gelb from the Met? And after the show was over, I just run back to, there are no dressing rooms because we're in a soup kitchen. So I literally run back to the back of the kitchen. And Eric comes in and he says, Aundi, Peter Gelb wants to meet you. And I said, he wants to meet me. And so he drags me out to meet Peter Gelb. And Peter Gelb is so warm. He's such a warm man. He's like, hi, my name is Peter. Like, he introduces himself like nobody knows who he is. And I'm like, sir, we know who you are. And he was so kind, and he said some really warm and wonderful, encouraging words to me. And then the next day, I'm told that I have an audition for Porgy and Bess. And I'm thinking, oh, because from what they told me, it was already cast. Everything was cast. So I go in and I sing The Strawberry Woman. And I already knew based off of how the audition went, because it was a really wonderful audition. Everybody was so nice, welcoming, and they seemed like they were already ready to just give me the job. You can feel that sometimes with when you're singing for, the staff. And so afterwards, I just thought, this went well. If I get it, great. If I don't, no big deal. But it was just nice to be able to audition at the Met. January 2nd, it was January 2nd, right after the new year, my manager calls and he was like, Aundi, I have great news. You just got Strawberry Woman at the Met. And I thought, oh my God, like I just broke down crying, like that deep rooted type of cry. I just broke down crying because I thought, look at what God has done. When I thought my time was up, when I thought this will never happen for me, and in the place that of all places, in a homeless shelter, in a church, I get noticed. As many times I've auditioned for different things at the Met, as many times my manager tried to put my name up, nothing opened that door until that moment. So I sang 10 shows of Strawberry Woman in the second half of the Porgy and Bess at the Met. And it was one of the highlights of my career. And I get my moment to literally stand on stage and just sing. And just to hear my voice go to the back of that hall is 4,000 seats. And to be able to hear my voice clear, crystal clear to go in the back. And once I finished, the audience started applauding like I'm in a football field. It's so surreal.
Well, I have to say, I was lucky enough to get to hear one of the performances, and it was my last trip to New York since COVID. So Debbie and I were there, and we were privileged and honored to be in the audience to hear you that night. But I'm going to say this: there was an audible reaction in the audience after you sang that aria, and I don't know if it was like that every night, but
It was.
I mean, it was totally noticeable that you got people's attention, and it's pretty deep into the opera, and it's a long opera. So the fact that you could still get people really on the edge of their seats that late into the show is pretty powerful.
Oh, thank you.
And you have, again, I'm bragging because I love your voice, but you have a big voice, and that's a big hall to fill up, and it was really special. So obviously the Met is the Met, and there's no other place like it. But tell me a few other roles that have been really important to you, that kind of your favorite roles that you'll never forget them. Doesn't matter where they were, but just because of the music.
I love singing Mimi in La Boheme. That's one of my favorite roles. It just fits my voice like a glove. Also, surprisingly enough, I actually really enjoy singing Fior di Ligi in Così fan tutte. I enjoy that. And my favorite opera, though, is the Madama Butterfly. As a young artist, I got to study it and sing part of the role, singing Cho-Cho-san, the Madama Butterfly. That opera rips my heart out every time. And just the music, all of that. Now, to be honest, I've been doing quite a bit of new opera works. Roles are favorite to me when I'm in the middle of it because I'm like engulfed in learning it. So they become my favorite at that moment. But the ones, the Mimi, the Fior di Ligi, and Butterfly are my staples that I just love singing that stuff.
So are there any roles or either orchestral works or operas or in music theater that are on your radar screen that you hope you get an opportunity to do that hasn't happened yet?
I would like to do the Verdi Requiem. That's my thing that I'm kind of working on. And while I'm in COVID, I've decided to learn things that no one has particularly hired me for yet, but just preparing because, at this time we're in a pause, the arts. So I'm like, why not continue to train? To be honest, I've really, I love new works. So I have coming up with the Washington Chorus, they've asked me to be their soloist for a new work that Damien Jeter wrote. And he actually was the Undertaker in Porgy and Bess. I had no idea that Damien was a composer because of course he didn't say anything. He was so modest. But we're going to be doing his new work. And the solo that I have is The Prayer. And then in December, I'm scheduled to do with the National Philharmonic, The Messiah. So I'm just trying to keep up with everything. So when we do open up, I'm prepared. I'm not trying to get prepared.
I know that, you've done a lot of opera work, but I'd say, if I'm correct, in the last couple of years, you've been doing more music theater.
I have. I don't do more music theater. I'm just starting to open up myself to it. One of my favorite singers is Audra McDonald. And I like that she does everything. I like that she not only sang classically, but she also sang musical theater and she also acts. There's a lot of TV work as well. So I really love that arc of a career for her. And I'm looking to do the same for myself.
Aundi, it's so great to see you and catch up. It's been since March when I saw you backstage. And hopefully one of these times when you're down visiting your family, we can say hello. And we can brainstorm on what your next project will be with the Virginia Arts Festival.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'll be looking forward to it.